I am absolutely outraged at the utter genocide, um, terror, oppression, and tyranny that is going on. And what bothers me more than the government doing that is that the people are going along with it. I expect the government to be corrupt. I don't
Mhm.
expect people to eagerly, giddily, and willingly line up and give over their rights.
Yeah. Yeah, the conditioning and the programming, people need to look in the mirror and understand that they're attached to these systems, and they shouldn't be, because they are corrupt. All the signs, the patterns are all there. For millennia we see these systems are all about control. So, and I tell friends and family all the time, pull your kid out. Why is public school your only option? It's like, you got to have faith in yourself and take personal responsibility.
You just said the two magic words, and that is, yeah, the conditioning is complete. People do not want to take personal responsibility. They actually want someone else to tell them what to do. They don't want to research the treatments that are available for this or any illness. They want the doctor to tell them what to do. They don't want to even research the side effects of prescription drugs. They will just take them rather than look into other um, means and methods. They would rather send their child to a school, suffocating them, and the physical result of that is far less harmful than the lifelong psychological harms of a child who knows it's wrong to cover their face and then to be told by an adult in authority that it's the right thing to do, thereby setting up a lifelong distrust of their own innate knowledge and wisdom. And then we've got a society of a bunch of messed up people, which is probably what's been going on for generations. And as an educator for 30 years at the um, college and university level, working, training K-12 teachers in professional development, I would never, under any circumstances, recommend a child to be in a public school in California. I can't speak for the other states, but if they're anything like California, you better look at that carefully.
Yeah. So the when you say you're looking at the statutes, those would fall under UCC that you're looking at? Like because there's so many different like jurisdictions with law, which is I think part of the it's part of the scam, right?
There's a big
It's
scam going on.
it's you've got people who are trying to work through common law and sovereign citizen type movements, but you're looking at the actual statutes that the state government is putting in place, and you're reading what those say, and you're even finding within those laws that they've created, it's still not valid. You're finding places where it's not, they basically shouldn't stand, but the people don't know that, so then the people basically police themselves, right?
You're absolutely right, Johnny. So there are different types of laws, there are different layers of laws, there are different jurisdictions, as you say. What I'm looking at are these laws that I say are on the books. So there are basically just a few sources of law, and basically there's one source of law, which is natural law, and that is our inherent God-given rights, as I refer to them, that you are born with. You are born with certain rights. A right is something that can't be taken from you. It's not a privilege. It's not a good idea. It is something that you have that is yours that may not be taken from you. The law on the books says without due process of law. So the Constitution, people get confused and they think that the Constitution gives us rights. The Constitution describes the American form of government. That's what it does. And interestingly, the first article of the Constitution describes the because it's the only country in the world that has this form of government. We're the only country in the world that is not, and let me just look at face value here, that was not created under a king or queen. And many will say, yes, we are. We're still under British rule. Well, we can talk about that. But let me just say at face value, we were told that this country is not under a king. We don't have a king of the United States, although there are some that wish they were and act as though they are. Queens as well, if we look at the governors and so forth. But that's not our political system of government. So our political system is a constitutional republic. A constitution is a contract. Republic means of the public, republic, we the people. If we look at it in a pristine manner, in the way we wish it was organized, it would be that we the people give our consent to be governed. And we can withdraw that consent, meaning our approval, our agreement. And that is why it is so important for we the people to oversee what's going on at all these levels of government. Many people didn't even know that they had a county government. All they knew about was a governor and maybe their mayor. They had no idea that these county health officers, in most places it's through the county and the state, were these unelected officials were issuing edicts that people started to follow. There is zero authority for that, for any one person to tell you to do anything. And I know that because our Constitution describes our form of government. And it is so important that laws are made by a legislative body, not by a king, not by a queen, not by a prime minister. It is made in a law-making procedure by a law-making body. Are there a lot of shenanigans? Absolutely. Are there regulations running amok? Absolutely. Are there regulations and statutes and orders and ordinances that are illegal, unlawful, and unconstitutional? There's an abundance. But if we go back to the structure of the government, the Constitution described the legislative branch of government first because it set this country apart from every other country. It described what it can do, how the laws are made in a Senate, in a Congress. That same structure then is what the state governments are based on. There is a legislative body in each state which makes laws for that state. No governor can make a law, no mayor can make a law, no sheriff can make a law, no judge can make a law, and certainly no health officer can make a law. That is defined in our Constitution. The Constitution describes the presidency, which is the executive branch, and the Constitution describes and defines the judicial branch, which is the court. It is intended that these are three co-equal branches of government where there are checks and balances. If a law is passed, even though it's passed in a lawmaking procedure, if that law is in opposition or in conflict with the Constitution or our Bill of Rights, which I'll talk about, then it is null and void. But it's not enough to just say that is null and void. It goes to a judge, and the judge rules and affirms and reaffirms and upholds the fact that that law is null and void. It has happened throughout our entire history. We have that procedure also in each state. For some reason, ignorance and maybe intentional deception, people have this idea that the governor said, the governor's mandate, the governor said, there's a governor's new law. It is absolutely nails on a chalkboard to me, and I will not stop talking about it. In California, I was relentless. I mean, I have t-shirts that say no governor can make a law. Every other one of my videos has that statement. And finally, the governor of California, and I have him on video saying it at a press conference, he said, I can't mandate anything. I can only encourage, which is exactly the truth. He cannot make a law. Only the lawmaking body can do so.